It is the final weekend of the regular season across USL League One, and still a lot to decipher in terms of the playoff picture. And we come to you from BMO Training Ground here in Toronto as TFC2 plays host to New England Revolution 2. I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks so much for being with us on this Friday afternoon. There is so much at stake in this matchup today, so let's show you those standings. We'll also get you those playoff scenarios. But first off, it is the standings, and right now, New England Revolution 2 coming in 5th spot. A win, and they are in. As for Toronto FC 2, a win puts them into that top 6 for now, and then they will need some help. But the bottom line for TFC 2 is they need to win this game today. That's the only chance they have. So this is what the road to the final looks like in the bracket going into this Week 30. Right now, it is New England in that 6th spot, but they can move up with 3 points or even a draw. Will give them some chances going into tomorrow. But if either team loses this game today, it is over. Their season is kaput. So that is the stakes for this matchup today. So let's look at this Toronto FC 2 side. They have been the nomads of USL League One this season, starting in Arizona, moving to Florida, then finally returning home here to Ontario. And it's been quite the journey for Mike Munoz's team, who says this team wasn't even supposed to be in this situation because of the challenges they faced. So far in October, Toronto has 9 points in 4 games, and Paul Rothrock has been a big part of that, scoring 3 goals. So we'll see if he can continue his goal scoring for TFC2 today. And here was his goal. That was the big one against North Carolina FC a few weeks ago. As for Revs 2, this is a team trying to rebound just in time to get into the playoffs. They've scored just 3 goals in 5 October games, and they've also lost 2 straight coming in. But one player they might turn to is Justin Rennicks. He has scored the team's last 2 goals and has 3 goals over the last 6 games. Clint Piet's message to his team is that their destiny is in their hands, as Revs 2, of course, clinches a playoff berth with a win. So Rennicks has been doing a lot of the goal scoring, but they can also share it amongst this team. Rivera, Kizza, and Buck all in the starting 11 today, and we'll see if there's hugs and smiles after this one for New England Revolution 2 today. So it's all on the line. The final match of the regular season for both of these sides. A loss, they're eliminated. A win helps them out a ton. Lineups in First Kick coming up next. We are back here at BMO Training Ground, building up to First Kick. It's Toronto FC 2 and New England Revolution 2. This is the 4th matchup of the season between these two sides, and the previous 3 have all finished 1-0. The first 2 games between these two sides took place in New England, and it was a couple of 1-0 wins for Revs 2, and then they come back to Toronto and they get a 1-0 win back on October the 9th. Kevin Politz, he had the lone goal on the night or afternoon rather, for Toronto FC2 in that one. But if they get more shots on goals, that's usually who is going to win the game. So we'll see who can do that here today in adverse weather conditions. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, time to look at the starting 11. We'll start with Mike Munoz in Toronto FC2. 3 changes for Munoz, and it's Caleb Patterson-Sewell coming into goal. His first start since September 25th against Richmond. As for Garrett McLaughlin, he is back in the starting lineup for the first time since September 17th against Madison. On the other side for New England, it is the back line there of Bell, Verfurth, and O'Hearn. John Bell will make his first start since September 17th against Richmond. Edward Kizza in this lineup as well. And we are just about set to go. Today's referee is Michael Mund. And boy, is it a cold and windy day here at BMO Training Ground, but we are all set to go, and we are underway. It all comes down to this, the final game of the regular season for New England and for Toronto. So last time out for TFC2, that 2-1 loss against Fort Lauderdale. Kobe Franklin scoring the lone goal on the day. That was the opening goal of the game before they then conceded 2. And Sean Hundal got both of those for Fort Lauderdale. On the other side for New England Revolution 2, just a bizarre game really overall. A 4-1 loss at North Texas. Justin Rennick scored in the 4th minute, and then they conceded 4 straight. And that is not something this New England Revolution 2 side does often, as that 4-1 loss ended 5 straight matches of a 1-0 scoreline. So we'll see if New England Revolution 2 can get back on track, or actually both these teams trying to get back on track, and it all comes down to this, a win, and both these teams have a great chance to get into the playoffs. For New England, a win and they are in. As for Toronto, they will have to kind of scoreboard watch tomorrow, but it all comes down to whether a team gets a win today, because Toronto is eliminated with a draw or a loss. And you can hear and see how windy it is. It's a cold afternoon here in Toronto as we get into the month of November, Halloween weekend. And this will be brought back for a foul. Here is the weather. Just about 54 degrees, but the wind almost 30 miles per hour. That is going to play a big factor. And for a team in New England Revolution 2 that just needs at least a result today to help them out, it would eliminate Toronto FC2. I think that has to favor them, because Toronto FC2 will have to go for this one, and they have to get 3 points today. That is an absolute must for their season to stay alive. Here's Altabelly trying to start the attack for Toronto. Here's Maples. Trying to play it through. Looking for Rothrock there, number 73. Now all the way back to Joe Rice, who just has to knock this over to that far side. O'Hearn will chase after it. And again, intercepted. Now it's Franklin, taken off the ball by Renix. And it's Maciel in the middle. Laid down the left. The cross coming in from Noel Buck is scooped up by Caleb Patterson-Sewell, the most experienced player of the bunch for Toronto FC2 at 34 years old. Well, the message from Clint P.A., head coach of Toronto FC, or pardon me, of New England Revolution 2, is the destiny is in our hands. And he also mentioned that we have the most wins behind Omaha, and that is, of course, their wild cards. This falls for McLaughlin, and a big save from Joe Rice. And a huge opportunity here in the opening 4 minutes for Toronto to get that opening goal. And it is not meant to be, but now here comes New England. This game already back and forth here to start. It's Rivera. All the way to the end line. Tries to get the cross in, and it's taken by Patterson-Sewell. But what a chance back on the other end. Joe Rice coming up with a massive save. An unfortunate deflection there, put it right into the path of McLaughlin. And what a save by Joe Rice to keep this at 0-0. Mike Munoz saying that we want to go from the first whistle. And it looks like, so far, that's exactly what they are doing. They are really going for this. Taking the clamps off, they have to get 3 points. For Firth, long over the top. Is headed out of play by Franklin. Renix plays this down the line. It's Spalding trying to get the cross away. This one deflecting out. It'll be a corner kick, and first of the game for New England. This will be an in-swinger from that near side corner. Here it comes towards the near post, looking for a flick. Bunch of red jerseys back defending, a failed clearance. We'll have another chance to do it here. Renix able to win it back. Renix puts the ball into the middle. Back to the top of the box, it's Buck, who couldn't get a shot away. And now here comes Toronto out on the break. Coming down that left side, looking for an opportunity, but nobody there in the middle. And this put out of play. It'll be a goal kick now for Joe Rice and New England. So a long stoppage here before Rice finally puts it back into play. 7 minutes gone, already a couple good chances for both sides, but the best one so far coming from McLaughlin. Here's Bell. Playing it right through the middle. It's Renix. Flipping this up over the top. Edward Kizza. He'll latch onto this. He'll look infield. Cross comes in. Just sat there in the box for a moment before it's cleared away. A couple of lineup notes for this New England side. Maciel and John Bell both got the start on Sunday in MLS play when New England took on Orlando. They had clinched the Supporters' Shield the day before. As you can see, that just sitting up in the wind. And finally, it's cleared away. But some good experience there for Bell and for Maciel, who have played a handful of appearances in MLS this year for Bruce Arena's side. Good argument to be made if New England can get into the playoffs here. It could be one of the best years across all of American soccer in terms of the first and the second teams both getting into the playoffs, with the Revs in MLS winning the Supporters' Shield. Of course, we'll see what Revs 2 can do here today and potentially into the playoffs next week. A good year all around. The wind makes Soccer, maybe more than any other weather condition, just the toughest to play. Push from behind. Spalding commits the foul. Here's Rothrock. Again, taken off the ball by Renix. This already has the feel that if New England can get a goal in this one, Toronto is really going to have a tough time trying to then get two. This is a New England Revolution 2 side that doesn't give up a whole lot of goals. We mentioned the 5 straight 1-0 results prior to that 4-1 loss, and of course all of the results in this series have been 1-0. So if that first goal is scored, that'll really put things into question as to what the rest of this match looks like. New England to have a chance going into tomorrow, just cannot lose. Getting a result is the utmost importance. Ball played diagonally over the head of Renix and out of play. Here's McLaughlin. And New England, no strangers to playing those 1-0 type of games. 7-4, 11 total, of course. They have been mighty successful when they're in those tight games. The goal margin obviously not very big. And as for Toronto, the other side of the coin, when it has been a low-scoring affair, that's not where they are at their best. John Bell stepping up and heading this out of play. Now it's McLaughlin. Instead of throwing given to New England. When talking with Clint Pierre about that 4-1 loss against North Texas, he said it really just came down to we lacked the legs and really the desire to take advantage of 10-men North Texas. But here's Rothrock on the ball. Trying to squeeze it by Cardellini, but it was knocked away. He said overall they just didn't convert their chances. We'll see if they can convert those chances here today. It's Rivera leading the charge. Through the legs of the referee, Noel Buck taking this on. And it's Politz who is down. And where's the captain's armband for this Toronto side? And he'll need a moment to get back to his feet here. Another look at it here. Right, just been wind knocked out of him, taking that right off the chest. It's always kind of a scary moment there when you get the wind knocked out of you. On the ground trying to get that breath back. It looks like he'll be good to continue. Just needs a moment. So Politz will go off behind the goal. It'll be a drop ball to put it back into play. An uncontested drop ball, not a face-off. We're not playing ice hockey. Here's Maciel. Rosansky and now Verfurth. New England always likes to take time on the ball. A turnover in midfield. Altabelly leads the charge. Played up ahead for Franklin. Franklin doing this all himself. John Bell stood his ground very well and wins it back for New England. Kizza will just play this back for O'Hearn, and New England can take more time on the ball. All the way downfield for Renix, who's able to keep this in play at least at first. Shrugs a defender off of him. Now puts it in the middle and cleared away. Politz was there defending. Here's Kizza. He was closed down quickly. Another giveaway there in the middle. It's Spalding. Spalding will roll this into the path of Noel Buck. He couldn't bring it in, and the offside flag was up anyway. It'll be a free kick back to Toronto. Another look at it here. Thought he might have fancied himself to take a shot. Well, as for Mike Munoz's thoughts on the 2-1 loss against Fort Lauderdale, he said really just a series of bad decisions leading to the goals, failed clearances, and just didn't quite happen on the day. He thought his side just didn't punish Fort Lauderdale enough when they had the chances, and overall, just disappointed they could not get a result on the day, and it gives them a little bit more to do here today where there's no room for error. Kizza does well to bring this down. Circling, and now it's Renix. It's picked off at the back, but too much pace on that ball to keep it in play. I'm sure the wind not helping things either. Spalding in for Renix. Closed down quickly. Rothrock trying to keep it. Now it's Yates. Franklin trying to look upfield. McLaughlin dropping in. Maples trying to play this up over the top. Gets caught up there in the wind, and really no chance for McLaughlin. Be a free kick here for New England in their defensive half. You can really see Toronto, they are trying to go for this as much as they can, as they have to. New England can be a bit more pragmatic in their approach. Don't necessarily have to throw a bunch of numbers forward, but obviously a goal would help them out tremendously, as it would, at least for the moment, clinch a playoff spot if they are in a winning position. As for the wind, it's obviously playing a big factor on this game today. It's coming from the far side, basically towards our camera position, so straight into the camera's face. A lot of credit to our men and women on the ground who are running camera in these tough conditions. But in terms of the wind helping or hurting a particular side in terms of it coming from behind a goal, it really doesn't help anybody in any real facet as it is coming straight across the field. It's not from behind a goal. Here's Spalding, back into the middle. It's Buck. Not a lot of room to work through the middle for New England. They'll have to use the wings, and they do here. It's now Justin Rennicks. Rennicks trying to get to the end line. Sliding in was Politz, who puts this out of play. It'll be a corner kick, and going straight into the wind for New England. Their second of the match. Rosansky right into the wind, kind of hanging up there. Patterson Sewell had to chop his steps to not overrun it. A turnover. This played ahead for Rivera. Kiz is in the middle. And the cross just too far out in front. Another look at it here. Rivera trying to put that into a good area and did, but it was just too far out in front. And the wind is technically, when Rivera is looking infield, it's at his back. So you might have to take a little bit off of that. Kind of finesse it into the middle. Not easy conditions to play in by any means for any of these players, but as they would say, we both have to deal with it. Both teams do. Of course, this is just the start of Week 30 across USL League One. Stay tuned for halftime. We'll catch you up on all things you need to know and get you set for tomorrow. But North Carolina, Greenville, Madison, Chattanooga. And then North Texas and Omaha. It's a big game for North Texas, so that they can clinch if New England fail to win today. And then the big game at the end of the night is Tucson-Richmond. Chance here coming for Toronto. Coming towards the penalty spot, but it was O'Hearn coming in from the weak side, able to close that down and clear away the opportunity there for the moment. Here's Altabelly. It's Rothrock surveying the scene. Back for Yates. Again, getting it out wide. Franklin providing the service. Deflected cross. A failed clearance. Still a chance. It's Rothrock. Play it back for Franklin again. Putting this in a good area. On the turn. Goldborn trying to feed it back to the far side. And this time it's cleared away. And all the way downfield. Patterson Sewell will collect this and clear it away. It's a decision there for Patterson Sewell whether to try to either knock that out of play like he did or put it back into the middle. And interesting quote from Mike Munoz. He said it takes 90 minutes to win. It takes 1 second to lose. In talking about those split-second decisions of if you have to clear it away, he said just put it into the airport if you have to. And that hit the referee, which means it'll be a drop ball for New England. Rosansky not very pleased about the decision, although that's the rule. Deflected cross will put this out of play. Well, since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of USL League One and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. It's Spalding. And now Renix looking infield. For Firth. Fires this across for O'Hearn. Got some work to do to get around Goulbourne. Now the cross comes in. And when it's coming from right to left in New England's attack, that's with the wind at the back of the player on the far side. And again, Rivera overshoots his target. There's also some rain in the forecast, so we'll see if any precipitation comes into play. This goes out of play. Mike Munoz thought that was going to be thrown in favor of Toronto. He's all bundled up. California guy. Maybe a bit out of his element, but he's all bundled up, ready to stay warm. McLaughlin. And now here's Maciel controlling things in the middle. Rivera tried to bring it in field. He usually plays out on the left. He always likes to cut in on that right foot, Rivera does. But today it's Kiza playing through the middle, Renix playing out on the left. Rivera out on that right side. Started off as what could have been a 3-5-2. Still with that 3 at the back, but Spalding can always move into that left back, and O'Hearn can move over to right back if they want to look at it as a 4. PA always likes to play with those formations. He's played as a 3 at times, played as a 4, and his team very comfortable in both. Good versatility, especially with Spalding. Here comes Toronto again, trying to play this in behind for McLaughlin. O'Hearn tackled down. This will be a free kick to New England. Antonio Carlini colliding with him. Another look at it. Here's Spalding. Now Rothrock does well to get rid of it quickly as he was closed down. Franklin will play it into the middle. Here comes Antonio Carlini. Gets it out wide to that left side. Petrasso, he can provide good service. Spilled by Rice. The follow-up by Rothrock is off of McLaughlin. And now New England will clear this away and at least put it out for a throw-in. Another big chance there for TFC2. Here it is again. Petrasso, I think he tried to go for goal there. It was a juicy rebound, and actually might have been Spalding who got the block on it, but nonetheless, nothing doing there for Toronto. And Joe Rice, again, another big save for New England. Here's Spalding. Again, very patient in possession, New England. O'Hearn. Just a lapse in concentration there for O'Hearn. Be a throw into Toronto. Yates advancing it for TFC2. McLaughlin. Carlini. Petrasso able to look in field, lifts the cross in, and headed away by Spalding. Will fall for Franklin. We'll just let this trickle out of play, and a throw into Toronto. Good pressure here in the last few minutes by TFC2. Can they make it pay off? A goal going into these final 15 minutes before halftime would be absolutely crucial. Remember, a loss for either side eliminates that team. Toronto FC2 needs a win to keep their playoff hopes alive, plus a little bit of help tomorrow, and a win will clinch a playoff spot for Revs 2. A draw or a loss in North Texas will then clinch a playoff spot. Lifted in. The header will clear this away. The whistle will stop play. Well, the excitement is just beginning. The 2021 USL League One playoffs begin Saturday, November 6th. Who will take their next step toward glory? Find out Saturday on ESPN+. Home for all of the games in the playoffs in both League One and the Championship. It's all coming down to the last day in both leagues. It should be a fun day tomorrow. Good day for multi-screening. Renix and Franklin, it's been a good battle down this near side so far through this opening half hour. Picked up by Rosansky, and now it's Renix. Gets a quick return from Spalding. For Firth, will rotate it around, now O'Hearn. Spalding fell down behind the play, and it's Altabelly who leads the break for Toronto. Options to either side. Here's Rothrock for Toronto, and it's saved again! Joe Rice! An absolute wall-in goal in this first 45 minutes. And again, denies Toronto on the doorstep. Another great opportunity for TFC2 to take a first half advantage. And Joe Rice has come up with save after save. Starting to look like that performance against Greenville a few weeks ago. And here's Kizza getting it wide for Rivera. Renix making the late run. He'll go with his left foot, and this one just wide of the post. A good action both ways. Both these teams going for it. And here's a look back at that opportunity, denying Paul Rothrock. I think that first touch let him down just a bit, but still a great save there by Rice. So here's a look at the standings. The live standings will put New England up into 5th spot. Played in behind. Did this go out for a corner or a throw? It'll be a throw-in. There's Renix trying to turn out of that challenge, but does win a corner kick out of it. Another chance here for New England on a set piece. Jake Rosansky straight over to take it. He'll play it in quickly for Noel Buck. On the turn, now looking to that back post. Bell was there. Rothrock able to head it away. Kizza. Service comes back in. It's Rosansky to collect. Now Renix. Puts it into a good area. Rivera tried to bring it down. Didn't have as much time as he thought. Spalding then had his shot blocked. And a counter-attacking opportunity. Maciel brings down Rothrock. It looked like O'Hearn was there in coverage. But this, a decision from the referee. What's it going to be? A big decision from Michael Mund. Will this be denial of a goal-scoring opportunity? Joe Rice pointing at Sean O'Hearn saying he was there to cover, but Maciel might be in trouble here. It will just be a yellow card, and I think that is the right decision. Man, was that close. Another look at it here. Rothrock clear away, but you can see O'Hearn there at the top of the screen. It looked like he was there to cover. And that is what you call a professional foul. And Maciel on a yellow card now for the remaining 55 minutes. Another look at this. You can see O'Hearn there running down the middle. Now, it would have been a 2-on-1, of course, but it's going to be just a yellow card to Maciel. Big decision there from the referee, and it looked like he got it right. Here's Kizza now. In for Renix. Little back heel for Kizza. Played back into the middle. Rosansky able to get a touch on it and get it out wide for O'Hearn. He'll provide the service. And with the wind, punting that right out of play. Really had no chance. So here is a look at the live standings. This is a little bit better here. North Texas, they're in 5th. New England would be on 38 points, and Toronto move up to 36. Obviously, that would not be enough for Toronto, and a draw makes things very interesting for New England going into tomorrow. And depending on how things play out, that Richmond-Tucson game going to be absolutely massive. Maciel leads the break. And 2 runners up ahead in Renix and Kizza. Couldn't find either of them. I asked Mike Munoz about the balance of really having to go for it at a certain point versus also not wanting to leave yourself exposed at the back. And he honestly said it's been no different than the last few games where they have been in basically a win-or-go-home mentality. I know last week they did lose that game to Fort Lauderdale. Didn't eliminate them, as they obviously still have a chance today, but they put together a nice streak of wins before that game against Fort Lauderdale. He says he just wanted his team to go from the first whistle, and that's exactly what they've done. But Joe Rice has come up with 3 massive saves in this first half thus far and has kept New England at 0-0. Again, it's Bell. Trying to dissect that back line. Spalding was in behind. Trying to stand this up, and whether a miss hit, got caught up in the wind, or both. And a goal kick back to Toronto. Here's Franklin. McLaughlin. Coming together there, and it's a late whistle, but a foul called on John Bell. It'll be a free kick to Toronto from a good spot. So Rothrock getting taken down. Set pieces, of course, so important, as Mike Munoz also mentioned in these type of games. Petrasso and Franklin, both outside backs, stand over it. Ball moving. Gonna have to hit it quick. Petrasso puts it in low, and that was right into the wind. And the wind will blow this out for another throw-in. Franklin fires this in, and O'Hearn there to knock it clear. Renix down the line. It's Noel Buck. Final few minutes of this first half. And if not for Joe Rice, Toronto would no doubt be on the score sheet at this point. New England still holding Toronto where they want them for now. Here's Bell, trying to play in the behind for Kizza, but picked up now by Spalding. Politz closes down quick. O'Hearn now out wide for Rivera. Rosansky. John Bell coming forward. Tried to rotate it out wide for Renix. Taken off the ball by Rothrock, who again charges forward. McLaughlin making the run. Bell trying to fight him off. And it's Bell to knock it away. Well, Mike Munoz thought that Toronto would have some success in transition with the amount of numbers New England likes to put forward. He said maybe at times if we can get up the field quickly, we can expose them at the back, and we've seen that already a few times. Can they find that breakthrough? It's when you let New England start to sit into that defensive shape. That's when it gets really difficult to break them down. Kiz up there to pick it off, and he's off to the races. Yates tracking back. And now out wide, it's Rivera. And Yates able to take Rivera off the ball. And nothing doing there in transition for New England. As Franklin joins the attack. Rothrock again. Franklin. It's Carlini making that diagonal run. Yates on the turn from distance. Saved again! Joe Rice denying Altabelly from distance. His fourth big save of this first half, and it keeps it at 0-0 into the final minute. Just tremendous goalkeeping from Joe Rice. We saw this a few weeks ago against Greenville. We're seeing it again today. Toronto have had the better of the opportunities. And now New England trying to poach one back the other way. Renix commits the foul. We're going to get into 1 minute of stoppage time at the end of this first half. Patterson-Sewell sending this downfield. McLaughlin off his chest. Here's Rothrock. Altabelly trying to pick this up. It looks like as we go into halftime, unless there's a twist to the tail right here, it's going to be 0-0 as Patterson-Sewell just cues this out of play. Maples heads it off. Maybe one last chance here for New England. And that is the end of the first 45 minutes. So right now, it would be New England staying alive in the playoff picture. North Texas would clinch, but Toronto would be eliminated. But still 45 minutes to play. Both teams really hoping for 3 points. Remember, the loser, if there is one, is eliminated from playoff contention. We're 45 minutes away from finding it out, and we'll see what happens come the second half. And don't forget, the 2021 season comes to a conclusion when the USL League One final takes center stage. Will a new champion be crowned, or will a former champion be showered in glory once again? The USL League One final is just 3 weeks away on ESPN+. Halftime here from Toronto, north of the border. Action on this Friday afternoon as we wrap up the regular season here in Toronto. And going back to last week, the week, of course, started right here at BMO Training Ground with Toronto FC2 taking on Fort Lauderdale. And this turned in to a big game for Sean Hundal. His return to Toronto, he scores a brace on the day. Fort Lauderdale in their final game of the season plays spoiler, and they take down Toronto FC2 by a score of 2-1. And that really put things into action for Toronto FC2 coming into today. They had a big chance to move up the standings. Then in Madison, 2 early goals for Tucson. They went up 2-0. Dennis and Rodriguez getting those 2 goals for Tucson. Madison, though, had to win this game to keep their season alive. 50th minute, Malloy, he puts it into the corner. A great strike from distance. Then Ryan Sierakowski, just a poacher's finish right on the doorstep. right into a wide open net. 2-2 in stoppage time. They would still have a chance here at the end. Forward Madison, a couple of block shots. Does not happen. They only get a point. They needed 3. It ends Madison's season, at least looking at the playoffs. Then Union Omaha, they have been pretty much atop the standings all year long. Otieno gets the goal in the 85th. Then in the 88th, it's Greg Hurst, and they are the regular season champions in USL League One. They have a chance to host throughout the entire playoffs if they can get to the final. Then maybe one of the most bizarre scorelines of the weekend as North Texas go down to 10 men but score 4 goals on a normally very good New England Revolution 2 back line, and finishes 4-1 on the day. It'll be very interesting to see, of course, what New England Revolution 2 can do coming into this second half, along with what North Texas can do tomorrow. We'll get into all of that, but this is how the standings shake out right now. Only 3 teams have clinched their spots into the playoffs. 4 through 6, still a lot to decipher here, and this result will have a lot to do with what tomorrow will look like as well. As each game goes final, the picture becomes more and more clear, and it really all comes down to that Richmond-Tucson game at the end of the night tomorrow. That'll make things really clear. Of course, going into that game, those 2 teams will know what they need to do to get into the playoffs or potentially host a playoff game. So we'll see how it all shakes out tomorrow, but we're going to take a look at tomorrow's big day on the other side of this break.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
There's hit on the line! Oh, he put it in! A magnificent strike! You go down, you come back, and you find a way. Send me how you go, Phil.
Goes topic frequently. I mean, yeah, that's how
Stop it.
Today where I'm gonna go
Yo,
topics.
roll it down. I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's last on our radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
There's hit on the line! Oh, he put it in! A magnificent strike! You go down, you come back, and you find a way. Send me how you go, Phil.
News and notes from around USL League One. The race to the playoffs is on and will all come down to the last day. Of course, what we are doing now has a lot of impact on what is going on tomorrow. Of course, the Owls and Union Omaha securing the top spot in the USL League One playoffs. Bernard Kamungo, he is the player of the week, couple of goals off the bench. And here's a look at the team of the week presented by Clear Audio. A lot of good performances a week ago, including 3 players from Ford Madison on the list. A look at the Golden Boot race. Emiliano Terzaghi, a single-season record this year. He leads the way with 17. It looks like he is going to secure that unless Greg Hurst or Mario Slomis can turn in pretty spectacular performances tomorrow. As for the assist leaders, a little bit closer here with Ricky Ruiz holding strong at 9 assists. Devin Boyce is right behind him. George Acosta's season is over, but Charlie Dennis might have a chance to make some noise in that one tomorrow. As for the Golden Glove, Rashid Nuhu leads the way, and it looks like he is going to take that. It'll be the first new winner over Dallas J, who got it the last 2 years. And, of course, congratulations to Akira Fitzgerald, the single-season record in saves, overtaking Alex Mangels of Chattanooga. A look at what happened a week ago. We kind of went over this in the previous segment, but just to refresh your memory, Greenville and Chattanooga, that 0-0 draw, that was an important result for both those teams, which still opens some things up for tomorrow. And we start with the final day. It'll be in Cary, North Carolina and Greenville. A Greenville win could potentially get them up to that second spot if Chattanooga trips up. This has been an interesting series this year, but Greenville trying to get into that top 2 and secure that first round bye. They have been right around that second and third spot all year long, but they'll have to go down to the final day, and they will need some help from Chattanooga. We'll see if Greenville can get the job done. They sit on 42 points. Chattanooga is on 44 points, so a lot to go over there. As for Chattanooga, a win and they guarantee a bye. They will guarantee that second spot. A draw will make things interesting. A loss, and then they will need some help, of course, from North Carolina in that game against Greenville. Chattanooga, though, they have been up towards the top of the standings all year long, and they are hoping it turns into a bye. Moving on, North Texas and Omaha. North Texas is in with a win, but they could finish anywhere from a third seed to out of the playoffs if they cannot capture all 3 points. So a lot will go on tomorrow in those previous couple of games that will set the stage for this one. And, of course, Omaha, they have already clinched that top spot, so what will their mindset be going into this game? Of course, these two teams draw quite often when they face off. But the game at the end of the night, this will be the most interesting one, and all the results previous to this will set the stage for what this one will mean. With Tucson and Richmond, winner clinches a berth. There's also some seeding that could change. So a whole lot to decipher come this game at the end of the night, of course, starting out late west in the desert of Tucson, Arizona. But that will be one to remember. Tucson and Richmond, a lot on the line between those two teams. So this is what it is. We are on the precipice of the playoffs. 4 games tomorrow, and we are excited to bring you all of them on ESPN+. But the second half from Toronto is on the way. A windy day, as you can see the CN Tower in the distance here from Toronto, Ontario. 0-0 between TFC 2 and New England Revolution 2. Let's take a look back at that first 45 minutes, our first half highlights. Plenty of saves to show you. We start in the 29th minute, and it was Toronto out on the break. Luca Petrasso from distance, trying to test Joe Rice, maybe trying to lean one way. He was not. Rothrock then had his shot blocked down. But that was the first of a few big saves from Joe Rice through the first 45 minutes. 33rd minute, just a few minutes later, out in transition. This was an interesting moment here. Altabelly coming right down the middle. Had options to both sides. Spalding had fallen down behind the play. It was just that first touch by Rothrock that may have let him down a bit. And Joe Rice able to make a kick save and a beauty to keep it at 0-0. Just before halftime, 44th minute. Again, Rothrock on the ball, rotating this around. Yates would find Altabelly from distance. And of course, it was Rice to push it away once more and keep it at 0-0. Look at our first half stats. 3 shots for New England, none of them on target. Toronto definitely the more dangerous of the two. The possession stats should not surprise you at all. New England likes to be on the ball, and Mike Munoz told us Toronto will look to get out in transition when they can and try to catch New England out. There is one sub to tell you about. There he is. It is Anthony Kurich, the 20-year-old from right here in Toronto. He will come on and make his 15th appearance and 6th off the bench. He replaces Kevin Politz. So the captain's armband will move to somebody else in this second half. Well, thanks for being with us. The start of Week 30 across USL League One, the final regular season match for both of these teams. So much on the line today in terms of playoff implications. I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks so much for being with us. This second half is underway. Of course, the teams will switch ends if you're just joining us. The wind is coming from over the hill on the far side towards our camera position. So it's not behind a goal. It's not really helping either side. It is a factor for both teams. As Kurich was able to keep this one in play. Yates will rotate it around for Franklin on the far side. Remember, the winner eliminates the other if there is a winner today. If there is a draw, New England, of course, still in with a shout. They will stay alive. It will also clinch a playoff berth for North Texas if New England fail to take victory today. So here's a look at the live standings. North Texas sitting there on 39 points. If they can clinch even before they play tomorrow, that'd be huge. New England would sit in that 6th spot as of now. A foul there on the far side as Rosansky was tripped up. Now it's Renix. Here's O'Hearn. Long throw and looking for Edward Kizza, who was posting up. Picked up by Rivera. O'Hearn trying to get around Goulbourne. O'Hearn tripped up. This out of play. It'll be a corner kick coming for New England. This will be right into the wind as Noel Buck places the ball on the spot. They'll play it short. It's Rosansky. And now Buck. O'Hearn a heavy touch, and it's put out of play. Now Mike Munoz coming into this game wanted to take all of the pressure off of his team. He felt his team may have had a little bit too much pressure going into that game against Fort Lauderdale. So this week we do not want our players to feel that pressure. We want them to enjoy this moment. He says we really weren't supposed to be in this position just because of the difficulties of this year. But here's Noel Buck taking this on. It's blocked down. Spalding will stand this up to the back post. And out of play it goes. He said he wants his team to embrace what they have gone through this year and to be in this position where a win would put them, at least when they go to bed tonight, into the top 6. That would mean a lot for this TFC2 side. Petrosov take a few more steps back to put this back in play on the throw-in. O'Hearn. For Firth. And now Bell. It looks like New England have dropped into a bit of a 4-back now. They can play as a 3, they can play as a 4. Looks like Spalding has moved over to left back, but he likes to get up the field. O'Hearn maybe a little bit more pinch back. But he can play as right back at times. Sliding in Goulbourne. Another throw in for New England. First 5 minutes gone of this second half. No clear chances for either side so far. At a certain point, though, Toronto's really going to have to push forward and try to find that goal, as they are the team that cannot settle for less than a win. Rothrock will get it out wide for Franklin. This time it's Toronto being a bit patient on the ball. Switch of play for Petrasso. Now back for Carlini. Here's Yates. Pretty much every white jersey back defending, making this very, very difficult for TFC2. There's Petrasso, ahead for Goulbourne. Taking a couple defenders with him. Now he gets it wide. Petrasso provides the service. Verfurth slid in to clear it away at first. An appeal for handball there from Petrasso. Now it's Goulbourne. Left-footed cross into a good area again. Verfurth there to head away. Yates will try his luck here. Rice spilled it at first and then was able to collect. The flag was up for offside. Flicked forward, it's Noel Buck. Buck slides it ahead. Kizza, tough angle. Take him all the way to the end line. All he could do was put it out of play. Really nothing doing there. There's Yates on the turn. It was a good one there by Altabelly, and he drags his shot wide. Another good chance coming from distance for Julian Altabelly, the 18-year-old, 2 goals and an assist so far this season. This one just not able to put it on frame. He had some space to shoot there from distance. Rennick's trying to come through the middle. He was fouled. A free kick to New England. And again, a look at the weather. Gusts of up to 32 miles per hour. Temperatures feel like they're in the 40s. And Maciel was fouled. Carlini trying to get on with things here. And you can see the sense of urgency that Toronto is starting to play with. They know what they have to do. And remember, Maciel already on that yellow card, which was a question as to whether it could have been a dogso situation, but the referee looked like he got it right. O'Hearn slides this in. Oh, look at that nutmeg by Rivera, but the finish is not quite there. And that would have been something there from the youngster. He scored some good goals this year. That would have been another. O'Hearn had the initial pass right through the legs of Kuric, who's just onto the field as a halftime substitution. You can see how quickly Toronto is trying to go here, end to end. McLaughlin. Here's Franklin. Petrasso driving this in. Spalding will head away as far as Altabelly. Was able to keep it for the moment, but then dispossessed by Nolbach. And here's Damian Rivera. Buck ahead for Kizza. Some late runners coming. Kizza might take this himself. Patterson Sewell, really his first big save of the day. Able to push this away. If that's registers a shot on target, it'd be the first of the match for New England. Rosansky will provide the service here on the corner. Put into a good area. Bell was boxed out there. Couldn't get back to that ball. Go all the way out for a throw-in. Now watch this with the wind. Petrasso, you got to play the wind. That's pretty good there. For the lefty, that's more of a fade there for the lefty, not quite drawing it in there. There's some space. Carlini. Rothrock. Franklin makes the run up ahead. Rolls this into the middle. And just knocked away at the last moment. Verfurth there to cover defensively. Petrasso was waiting at the back post. There's the reaction from Franklin. Oh, he knows that was put into a great area. Here it is again. It was Franklin coming up on the overlap. And if not for Verfurth, it's 1-0 to Toronto Shirley. Instead, a corner kick, and Franklin will come over to take it. Toronto really starting to knock on the door now, and this straight into the wind. Good depth to this. Petrasso stands it back up. And that did take a deflection. It'll be another corner kick for Toronto. Really starting to put some pressure on here. This will be with the wind at the back of Petrasso. Doesn't have to put as much onto it. Bounces it into a good area. And Rice is able to pick it up. If you can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Miola, Rodney Marsh, and USL All Access with Mike Watts and Devin Kerr every Tuesday night at 7 Eastern. You can also hear live action from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the app. Headed back to Patterson-Sewell. Here's Altabelly. Petrasso for Goulbourne, who cuts in field. Goulbourne teeing this up. Tried to wrap his right foot around it and curl it inside that right post. As we pass the hour mark, 30 minutes to go. Here from BMO Training Ground, thanks for being with us an hour earlier on this Friday afternoon than usual. Remember all of the playoff implications. Toronto has to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Anything less than a win for New England will clinch a playoff spot for North Texas. If New England is able to win, they will clinch a playoff spot and will make North Texas wait until tomorrow. Rothrock. Goulbourne trying to get there. Rosansky went to ground and did well. Now Buck trying to lead the charge. He was taken off the ball. All clean, though, deemed by the referee. It's Altabelly again. Petrasso trying to get to the end line. Stand this up. Here's the shot. It's in! Rothrock! A tremendous volleyed finish! And Toronto leads 1-0! They could be on the precipice of their first ever playoff appearance. 30 minutes to go. TFC2 leads. What a finish by Paul Rothrock. A look at it again. Altabelly able to get it out wide for Petrasso. He was able to just get by O'Hearn. And look at that finish from such a tough angle. But Paul Rothrock has been on some sort of goal-scoring spree as of late. It's his fourth goal on this season. All of them have come in just the last couple of weeks. Petrasso gets his third assist on the season. What a moment for Paul Rothrock. And when talking with Mike Munoz about Rothrock this year. He said he has really hit mid-season form. He missed some time due to a wrist injury. We'll get to that in a moment as Renix now leads the charge. Courage able to step in. Renix cuts back. And this will go out for a corner kick, but Mike Munoz called Rothrock almost a mid-season signing. He missed about 4 to 6 weeks with a hand fracture. He went back to his hometown of Seattle to rehab, but now he's back, and he has really been a key cog in what Toronto has done these last few weeks. A big collision, though, outside the area. O'Hearn earns New England a free kick. Altabelly, I think, just lost his balance. Well, does that provide a twist to the tail? And now New England, they know they have to go for it. They have to get a result today. Remember, the loser of this game is eliminated. And you see when New England concedes that first goal, they've only gotten results 2 out of 11 times. They'll have to make it 3 of 12 or their season will be over. And you see when Toronto is able to get that first goal, they have been very successful. Now with the wind, if Noel Buck decides to go for goal, this could be an interesting one. Plenty of options, though, on that far side. Buck trying to curl it in, and you could see the wind really affect that as Verfurth trying to put his head in there. Well, this is the 4th matchup between these two teams. All of them has been 1-0. The home teams have won all of the matchups so far. Maciel able to step in. Here's Noel Buck. And Noel Buck thought he was fouled. And this will be a yellow card. Went to ground and took it with his hand. Referee didn't like it, and a free kick to Toronto, and now they can be the ones to take some time here. Mike Munoz said, the need to play mistake-free soccer is so important. Make it difficult for New England to build, punish their mistakes. It's so far been enough to take a 1-0 advantage with 25 minutes to go. North Texas has to be fans of this result. It's a long way back now for New England if they were to find 2 goals in these last 25 minutes. So North Texas might be able to clinch one here today. That ball did go out past the near touchline. Well, something interesting to consider is if this stays as it is and Tucson were to draw with Richmond tomorrow, Tucson has the advantage, the tie-breaking advantage over Toronto. The first one is wins. They both have 10 if this holds. But Tucson has more goals than Toronto, which is the next tiebreaker. Kizza trying to play it off his chest. Petrasso. Really, the outside backs have been so crucial in this game for Toronto. Now Rivera gets it out wide. Here's Spalding. Couple of step overs. This deflects out of play. Maciel, Spalding. Here comes the cross. With the wind playing a factor, anything from that far side is just so tough to get correct. And here is a look at the live standings. North Texas, as things stand, would clinch a playoff spot. Tucson, they would have to get at least a draw tomorrow against Richmond to get in, as they would then hop over Toronto. But here's Kizza, as this is cleared away. Wide for Renix, trying to get around Petrasso. Remember, we showed you at the beginning the form that Renix has been in. 3 goals over the last handful of games, but there's so many players on the field right now for New England that have contributed with goals this year, the likes of Noel Buck, Damian Rivera, and Edward Kizza. And one of those few get on the score sheet here. Here's Buck. Wide for O'Hearn, spaced across, fires it into a good area, but Maples was there to put his head on it and head it away. Rosansky back for Buck, curling one in. Maciel missed the header. And it's cleared away. Well, now you can really see the sense of urgency from New England. They haven't had this much of the ball in their attacking third pretty much throughout the entire match. $20 minutes to go. Remember, a loss eliminates whoever team is on the side of the loss. Now it seems like the roles are almost reversed. Usually it's New England that wants to be on the ball and dictating the tempo of the game, but Toronto maybe will try to get on the ball a bit more. Here's a transition opportunity. It's O'Hearn able to get by Goulbourne, but not Carlini. O'Hearn able to stick with it. The cross blocked down to play. This will be a throw-in in that corner. Maciel trying to curl this in. Patterson Sewell maybe wasn't quite sure what to do for a moment. That was hanging up in the wind, but it hits the top of the net, and it's out for another goal kick. ESPN Plus is your home for the USL playoffs. Join our experts as they break down every matchup of the Championship and League One playoffs. The playoff preview show Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern only on ESPN Plus. But straight out of play off the goal kick. Rotates it around for Spalding. Quick burst of pace there from Spalding, trying to get around Rothrock to the end line. Spalding staying with it. It's Noel Buck, and he just scuffed his shot, and it's cleared away as far as Verfurth right at midfield. Maciel, room to work in the middle. Now it's Rosansky. Yates providing good pressure as O'Hearn gets it wide. Renix driving in field. Again taken off the ball by Goulbourne. He felt some contact and went to ground. Enough to earn a free kick. Renix doesn't quite agree. Another look at the live standings. Remember, a loss eliminates New England. The same would do for Toronto if they concede 2 unanswered here. Going into tomorrow, as there's a collision there, Goulbourne and Rosansky hit the turf, but this will be a corner kick. Joe Rice doesn't like that one. Goulbourne will take a moment to get back to his feet. I'm sure that one will sting a little bit extra in this cold. Here's the in-swinger, put into a good spot again. Bell headed that to the back post. Kizza will have to chase this down. And cleared out of play. We're into the final 15 minutes. New England have scored some late goals this year. They'll have to rely on another goal in these last 15 minutes to keep them alive going into the season's final day tomorrow, where they will be at home watching it all take place right here on ESPN+. Four games kicking off between 7 and 10 Eastern time, all with something to do with the playoffs. In that Greenville, North Carolina game, it's about seeding. Same thing in Madison, Chattanooga. And if New England loses or drops points today, the same can be said for North Texas and Omaha and Tucson and Richmond. There'll be a lot on the line, especially for Tucson. Here's Renix. Bell with some urgency, gets it out wide for Spalding, who has been one of the best players on the field today for New England. Maciel for O'Hearn, early ball in, cleared away by Kurich. Corner kick coming up for New England. Put in short for Rosansky. Now it's O'Hearn. His cross is headed away. All the way back for Joe Rice. For Firth. McLaughlin really the one outlet for Toronto with about 11.5 minutes to go. Just that one sub made was Kuric coming on for Politz, who was shaken up a bit in that first half. You wonder if that has anything to do with it. We'll see if either side wants to make a sub into these final few minutes. Played through the middle. Patterson-Sewell able to step up and knock it clear. The message from Clint P.A. coming into this game was that destiny is in our hands. He said it was all about focusing on this game and really not dwelling on the past. He thought he felt good about his team's chances, but they have some work to do. Goulbourne. Still coming forward. Rohan Goulbourne putting this to the back post. It might have been a shot, might have been a cross. McLaughlin wasn't there to tap it home, and it stays at 1-0. Joe Rice looking for a ball, trying to get it back in play as quick as possible. Was able to get by Maciel. McLaughlin not there at the back post quick enough. Just one shot on target for New England thus far. Came in this second half. Rivera fires one through. Tell me if you've heard this before, but the wind affecting that cross. 10 minutes to go. Looked like Toronto was preparing a sub. We'll get that one in just a moment. O'Hearn trying to slide it in again for Renix. Petrasso there to block it down. Now Maciel will try to go quick on the throw. Have to bring it back to the right position first. Now O'Hearn will get it in play. Maciel for Renix, and knocked away. Remember, all of the three previous matchups between these two have ended 1-0 in favor of the home side. Exactly what we have on our hands here. Bell out wide for Spalding. Good on either foot and nearly spilled, but Patterson-Sewell able to scoop it up. Another look at it here. Spalding, who's playing at left back, but went with his right foot this time. Patterson-Sewell able to hold on to it. There will be a substitution coming. And here it is. It is Kosi Thompson coming on for Garrett McLaughlin. McLaughlin, who made his first start since September 17th against Madison. Looks like we'll finish this regular season with 8 goals and 1 assist. Kosi Thompson will come on for his 27th appearance in his first pro season. Right nearby here in North York, Ontario. So just the second sub of the game, and both of them have been for Toronto. New England has yet to make a sub, but looks like they will in just a moment. Substitution now coming for New England. Esmir Bayraktarovic coming on. The 16-year-old will replace the other 16-year-old in Noel Buck. Into the corner. Here's Petrasso. Space for Goulbourne, rolling this in behind. Can Toronto put this away? It's Carlini, back into the middle. Rothrock over the bar. Did it take a deflection? It did. Corner kick, Toronto. Another look at it here. Goulbourne, the piercing ball in behind. Carlini able to lay it off for Rothrock. That big deflection put it out for a corner kick, and Toronto, of course, taking their time. Goulbourne turning the corner, and this out of play. Remember, if this result holds, North Texas, Richmond will both clinch playoff berths. Here's Bell with 5 minutes to go. Season hanging in the balance for New England Revolution 2. And at this point, you feel like a goal could almost be a golden goal. John Bell puts the cross in and puts it in the netting behind the goal. And we're getting into that time where a goal could really swing things either way, and there may not be enough time for the opposition to respond. This is a loser-out game. Renix plays it up ahead. It's Kizza. And again, you can see that ball sputtering in the wind and out of play. Goal kick. Just been that kind of day for New England. Another sub coming. It's Dante Campbell, 21-year-old. It'll be Julian Altabelly who is being replaced. Three minutes to go plus stoppage time. O'Hearn will track it down all the way in the corner. Rosansky. John Bell trying to go quick through the middle. A lot of red jerseys there. O'Hearn had to win that ball, and he did, but then he's dispossessed by Yates. Goulbourne. Trip as Rothrock goes down, late whistle, but that's a foul. Free kick, Toronto. More precious seconds coming off the clock for New England. Really coming down to it here. Goal for New England would keep them alive. As things stand, they are eliminated. Joe Rice trying to go quickly here. That ball was rolling. He needs to make sure it stops. Spalding up the line. Rivera. Through the legs of the referee. Rosansky will try to rotate it quickly. Renix was up ahead. Intercepted by Petrasso. Here's Goulbourne. Rosansky forward. Kiza was there, couldn't get on it. Bayraktarovic was able to keep that in play. Now it takes a weird deflection. It's a throw-in to New England. Into the final minute of play. Renix, heavy first touch. And now Toronto just trying to play keep away for Firth, coming all the way up to win it back. Here's Rosansky. For Firth, and now Maciel closed down quickly. O'Hearn up for Renix. Renix has been the man to score the goals as of late for New England as we get into 4 minutes of stoppage time. That's what stands in between New England and elimination. Toronto just trying to stay alive, and they will have to wait all the way until tomorrow night, the late game. Tucson and Richmond will be the one that tells them whether they are in or out. It's Rohan Goulbourne who is down. Toronto FC too, they have been around since 2015, where they were in the USL. From 2015 to 2018, they did not make the playoffs in any of those years. They only have played in USL League One in 2019, and then, of course, in this season. They did not play last year. They did not make it in 2019 either. This is a team that has never made the playoffs. And with a win today, it at least gives them a chance going into the season's final day, where they will have to sit back and watch. As for Clint PA, obviously this is just their second season as a team, and they are trying to get into the playoffs for their first time as well. So Goulbourne takes some time to get back to his feet, and I'm sure this is being added on. It's a minimum of 4 minutes, and we have 2.5 minutes left to go. I'm sure it'll be a bit more than that. O'Hearn trying to get him off the field. And a substitution will replace Rohan Goulbourne. It's Hugo Imbong. His 10th appearance on the season. Some pushing and shoving as Rosansky and Rothrock. Now Goulbourne coming off the bench. This will be a yellow card to Jake Rosansky. It'll be O'Hearn to stand over this. Everybody coming forward now. 90 seconds of the minimum of 4. We should get a bit more than that, but you just never know. Remember, this is into the wind. O'Hearn will have to provide good service. This knuckling. I'm sure Patterson Sewell had to be careful as he was scrambling back, but nobody able to get on that. So we get into the final minute. This played ahead. Can Imbong put this away? Joe Rice out of the goal. And Imbong, this will be a foul. And Joe Rice looks to be holding that right forearm, and that's a red card. His day is done. And he might have done some damage as well, as he looks to be in some pain as he comes off. New England have only made one sub thus far. Their goalkeeper on the bench is Yannick Odell, the German. Here's another look at it. As Imbong was tripped up there, Joe Rice, he was holding that wrist right away, and Rothrock waving him off the field. So somebody will have to come off now for New England if they decide to put another goalkeeper on, which I assume they would. Well, what's the decision going to be here from Clint PA? They are down to 10 men. Right now they don't have a goalkeeper on the field. Somebody has to come off. Well, tough way for Joe Rice's season to end, especially this game. He was brilliant in that first 45 minutes. There is Yannick Odell, who will make just his third appearance on the season. He was signed in July, played his college soccer at UCF, where he was a 3-time AAC Goalkeeper of the Year. So a good track record, but only his third pro appearance, and he comes on with just seconds remaining. And it will be Maciel who is sacrificed. The 24-year-old from Munich comes on. Sure, Toronto will just play this backwards. No reason to even put this towards goal unless you want to take it into the corner. New England players just milling around, making a circle around the ball, 10 yards away in every direction. The decision going to be here from Carlini. He'll play it square for Rothrock. Now it's Yates. Smart thing to do, just go to the corner. And there is the final whistle. Toronto stays alive. New England is eliminated. Drama right up until the end. It was an elimination game going in. We all knew that. And Toronto is the one that will see tomorrow and potentially a chance still to get into the playoffs. What a 90 minutes. Back and forth it went. But Paul Rothrock's goal is the difference as TFC2 win it 1-0. Tremendous effort from Toronto FC2. And it's the fourth matchup between these two sides that ends 1-0. Team with more shots on goal is able to win it for the fourth time, and it's 1-0. A look at the live standings. New England is eliminated. Toronto moves into 6th spot, but Toronto would be ahead of Tucson on goal difference. A whole lot of tiebreakers to work out. Handshakes all around, but it's Paul Rothrock's 4th goal on the season that proves to be the difference today for Toronto. We'll come back and wrap things up. We'll get you all set to go for tomorrow. It's a little bit more clear, but still a lot to be decided. It finishes here in Toronto. TFC 2-1, Revs 2-0. Back here to wrap things up from BMO Training Ground. Toronto FC 2-1, New England Revolution 2-0. What a 90 minutes this was. Talking with the families after the match. An exciting win for the home side today. Paul Rothrock's goal is the difference. Let's show you how it all happened with our full-time highlights. We knew it was an elimination game coming in. The winner would stay alive. And in New England's sake, if they would have won, they would have clinched a playoff berth. And going into this first half, chances for Paul Rothrock. But of course, Joe Rice there to deny him. And he made some big saves through that first 45 minutes to keep this game at 0-0. Just before halftime, 44th minute, Rothrock again on the ball. Right at the top of the box would be Julian Altabelly. Able to put that on frame, but Joe Rice was there to push it aside. And it stays there at 0-0. Then come the second half, 57th minute. There would be some chances in this game for New England Revolution too. This, the first and only shot on target of the match for Revs 2. And it's saved by Caleb Patterson-Sewell, able to push it aside. 62nd minute. Altabelly was on the ball there first. Able to get it out wide for Petrasso, who gets by O'Hearn. And look at this finish. Paul Rothrock, his 4th goal on the season. That might be the best of the bunch. And it keeps Toronto FC 2 alive in the playoff picture. His 4th goal on the season could not have come at a bigger time. Here's our full-time stats. 10 shots on the day for TFC2, just 7 for New England, but I think the bigger stat there, just 1 shot on target. They had almost 60% of the ball, but could not get the job done today as they lose 1-0 for the 2nd time this year against TFC2. All right, so now we have a little bit more of a picture for tomorrow going into the season's final day with North Texas and Richmond now clinching playoff spots. It all comes down to that final spot where FC Tucson will have to beat Toronto FC2, or pardon me, to beat Richmond to jump Toronto FC2. Here's a look at the standings. New England Revolution 2 is eliminated. FC Tucson still alive. Richmond is in. North Texas is in. And everybody there at the bottom, of course, eliminated. It all comes down to the game at the end of the day. Richmond and Tucson. Here is the schedule. It all starts at 7 Eastern. All these games still have something to play for in terms of seeding. North Texas potentially trying to get a home game. Chattanooga trying to stay in that top 2. Greenville trying to get into the top 2. So many implications tomorrow across these 4 games. But if you want more of an elimination game, it all comes down to Tucson and Richmond to close out the regular season tomorrow night at 10 Eastern. So that'll do it for our coverage from north of the border. It was an elimination game, and Toronto FC2 will live to at least see one more day. They may not play another game, but they're still in with a shout. For our entire crew, I'm Josh Eastern saying so long from Toronto. It finishes TFC 2-1, New England Revolution 2-0. So many more playoff implications coming tomorrow, all on ESPN+. Good night from Toronto.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League, League One, cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League, League One.